old jacket, the awful necktie askew, smudged glasses all but falling off his nose. His shoulders are stooped, as if compensating for the too tall frame and the big baldish head. His collar, as usual, is frayed. He looks more like an old world clockmaker than one of America's best reporters. As he confers with editors in the flickering candlelight at the city desk, Peter flips open his notebook, filled with scribbles in the tiny, spidery hand of a depression kid saving paper. He has an agreeable smile despite their hopeless situation. But in the golden glow of the candle, Peter is calm. He moves to his front row desk, settles behind the typewriter, and cradles the phone to his ear. Isn't that lovely? Peter, whose 50-year career included the Associated Press, the World Television Sun, and for 30 years the New York Times, was the consummate reporter. A sharp-eyed noticer able to vacuum up countless colorful or telling details to make a person or an event come to life, no matter how tight the deadline. He was fastidious about sticking to the principles of objectivity, fairness, and integrity. As a result, he was an inspiration to dozens of his colleagues. More than a few of them told me they considered him a mentor. And the Peter Kihss Award is for both a distinguished career and for mentorship. His son Erik is here, and I call him up to say a few words. Erik, who looks like a spitting image of. By the way, his granddaughter is here too. Erik,
I'm really honored to be able to attend this dinner, and instead of talking about what my dad did professionally and his stories, I'll talk a little bit of what a person he was at home. And I didn't know how well regarded he was until he had his first heart attack when I was in college. And all of a sudden, Arthur Gelb was every day at the hospital in the limousine. And aside from some occasional sensational stories like the blackout story, which he got the Page One Award for, and Malcolm X assassination, he mostly did a lot of stories that did not interest me as a music major in college. The city budget, things like that. So when he had his first heart attack, Mayor Lindsay at the time sent him a copy of the city budget, this thick, to Peter, who I know will read it. And of course, my father did, and found either a page or paragraph missing, and apparently sent everybody in City Hall scrambling for their copies of the budget, which nobody had looked at either. Anyway, make this brief. He would never tell me who he would vote for in an election as a reporter. He tried to be objective, but I know he was very, very upset with and devastated by Robert Kennedy's death. But one of the letters I have hanging on my wall was from Richard Nixon, who was no fan of reporters. And it was apparently a piece, I'm finding the article. It's a framed letter. He was writing a profile of the Nixon family in 1963 that pleased the future president. And in it, Nixon says, the best newspaper reporters are objective, fair, and considerate, particularly when they're writing about a man's family and personal life. And he also put in P.S. Checkers like the piece too. Anyway, he's very self-deprecating, and Arthur Gelb spoke amazingly enough. He would return down raises in salary, thinking he was undeserving. When he was forced to retire at age 70, he thought it's a young man's game anyway, that he did not object to it in any way. And he really was reluctant to, when this award was created, he was still alive. He died in 1984, and he didn't even want this to happen. But I'm glad it did. And I can't think of a more deserving person than Nicholas Kristof would be this year's winner. Thank you.